Now then, how are you doing? I hope you're well. It's that time of year when the coastline around Flamborough Head on the east coast of England becomes a riotous crescendo of noise and constant activity. And I'm not talking about the tourists on staycation. I'm referring, of course, to the many thousands of seabirds that arrive here each year to nest on the sides of the cliffs. Well, I should say that I don't really consider myself a wildlife artist by any means, but as a landscape painter I am always interested in exploring elements that might help to bring an otherwise static scene to life. Manic flocks of gannets certainly do that. Come with me then for a glimpse of life on the ledge and a look at how I like to approach seabirds in pencil and watercolour. Welcome to the north-east coastline of England, just around the corner from Flamborough Head. I love its rugged, crinkly coastline, particularly its sheer white cliffs that plunge vertically into the North Sea, providing nesting sites for many thousands of seabirds. Here at Bempton Cliffs on the northern side of the headland, there are particularly large numbers of nesting birds. I'm eternally fascinated by the way they manage to cling to the rocks and stay put on the tiniest of ledges. As you can see, they perch on the tops of rocks en masse. There is constant activity here, with birds flying off to find food and a constantly shifting redistribution of available real estate. Well, I'd be lying if I said that I was well within my comfort zone, looking out over the cliffs and trying to capture the birds in my sketchbook. My approach to sketching anything like this is to go with the flow. There is so much going on that you can't hope to capture it all, so I'm happy to settle for capturing the essence of the scene. Specifically, I'm looking at the different shapes the birds make when in flight and the arrangement of the markings on their wings and bodies. Well, there were several different types of seabirds in residence during my visit, but I chose to narrow my observations down a little and concentrate purely on the gannets. And this was how my sketch finished up. It's a little busy and not really much in the way of a balanced composition, but by the time I'd finished it, I think I understood Gannets a bit more than when I started, and that's the true value of making a sketch at first hand on location. So, with my newfound knowledge and understanding of gannets, I set about planning a watercolour once I was back home in the studio. As with any wildlife subject, it's important to try and get the general proportions as accurate as possible. Gannets have large beaks, for example, but it's important not to overemphasise that. In this scene, my gannet is also looking backwards, so the positioning of its head and facial features are also important. I'm now ready to start throwing some paint at the paper, and I'm going to start with some Prussian blue. I'm painting wet onto dry so that I can carefully paint around the shapes of the birds, particularly those that are flying. Although I'm only using a single colour and want to create a relatively consistent finish, it's important that I work quickly so that the beading, that's the blobs of paint at the bottom of the brushstrokes caused by the board being set at an angle, can flow from one section into another, evening it out and avoiding the creation of unsightly hard lines. A compositional element I feel we should always be looking to incorporate into all watercolours, no matter what the subject, is variation and graduation. Its plumage is mostly white, with black areas around the face and tips of the wings. It does have a subtle warmth to the feathers around its neck and head though, and I want to suggest this by applying a light wash of raw sienna. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. In the end, no matter what your preferred choice of subject or style, it never hurts to take a look at something that might be a little outside your comfort zone. And that's how we stretch ourselves and expand upon our skill set. If you fancy taking a look at the full version of this demonstration, then I am pleased to tell you that it is available in its uncut, non-time-lapsed form, along with a step-by-step guide to having a go at painting it yourself. And that's to all subscribers of my online tuition service, a link to which can be found in the description below. With membership options starting at only £9 per month and giving you unlimited access to hundreds of similar painting and drawing projects and other resources, what have you got to lose? Until next time, take care.